For decades, American air power meant the F-22 until a fighter that cost $300 million appeared, and senior officials admit it has already flown, built in total secrecy. Designed to command drone swarms and outpace anything China or Russia can field, its true abilities are guarded by silence. But what evidence reveals the real story behind America's next-generation dominance, and why are world militaries scrambling to catch up? At the heart of the F-47's leap in range and speed lies a propulsion breakthrough, the adaptive cycle engine. Unlike traditional fighter engines locked into a single mode, the next-generation power plants under the NGAD program, General Electric's XA-102 and Pratt & Whitney's XA-103, can shift their configuration mid-flight. The secret is a three-stream design. In high-thrust mode, the engine channels more air through the core, maximizing power for supersonic dashes above Mach 2. When efficiency matters most, a third stream diverts airflow around the core, boosting bypass ratio and slashing fuel consumption for long-range cruise. This flexibility is not just theoretical. Ground tests of earlier demonstrators like the XA-100 series showed up to 25% better fuel efficiency and a solid increase in thrust over the F-35 engine. For NGAD, that translates directly into range. Where the F-22 was limited to around 600 nautical miles of combat radius, the F-47 is designed to exceed 1,000 nautical miles on internal fuel alone, enough to cross the vast distances of the Indo-Pacific without relying on tankers. Some projections based on Indo-Pacific profiles suggest operational ranges could push even further, especially when paired with efficient flight routing and optional manning. The optional manning concept plays into the endurance equation. On missions where a pilot's presence is not required, removing the cockpit and life support systems frees up space and weight for additional fuel or payload, extending range even more. The result is a fighter that can loiter at the edge of contested airspace, command a swarm of drones, and still have the energy reserves to dash at Mach 2 when the tactical picture demands. Behind these numbers is a web of engineering advances: variable bypass architecture, advanced digital controls, and integrated starter generators that turn the engines into both power plants and cooling systems for the jet's high-energy sensors and future-directed energy weapons. The adaptive engine's third stream also acts as a thermal sink, helping manage the heat from electronics and weapons without leaving a telltale infrared signature. Every detail of the F-47's propulsion system is about turning raw engine innovation into operational advantage. Greater range, higher sustained speeds, and the ability to manage power and heat on demand. These are the building blocks that allow the jet to stay on station longer, cover more territory, and direct its drone teammates deep into hostile territory. The adaptive engine is not just a technical upgrade, it is the enabler for a new style of AIR dominance, one that stretches the reach of American air power farther than any fighter before it. The F-47 cockpit is no longer the nerve center of a single jet. It is the command post for a digital battle group. At the core of this transformation is a new breed of AI, built on the Air Force Skyborg software architecture. The AI co-pilot does not just assist the pilot with checklists or navigation. It absorbs a torrent of sensor data, fuses radar, infrared, and electronic signals, and then makes tactical recommendations in real time. In flight, the AI can spot a threat, calculate evasive maneuvers, and even prioritize targets before a human could blink. Tests with the X-62 Vista have shown that AI agents can outmaneuver experienced pilots in simulated dogfights, updating control inputs dozens of times per second. That machine speed advantage means the F-47 can react to missile launches or sudden threats in milliseconds, not seconds. Crucial when a split-second delay could mean the difference between survival and a lost aircraft. But the real force multiplier comes from how the F-47 teams with its collaborative combat aircraft. Each fighter is built to command several autonomous drones, loyal wingmen, over secure, low-latency data links. These collaborative combat aircraft can fly ahead as scouts, carry extra weapons, jam enemy radars, or even sacrifice themselves to draw fire. The pilot, aided by the AI, can assign tasks to each drone, retask them on the fly, or let the AI manage the formation entirely. In practice, this means a single F-47 can project the combat power of an entire flight, directing a small swarm deep into contested airspace while staying outside the most dangerous zones. The Skyborg core ensures that every drone and every manned jet speaks the same digital language. Data flows in both directions. Drones send back sensor feeds and threat alerts, while the F-47 AI sorts and prioritizes information, keeping the pilot focused on the mission instead of drowning in raw data. If a drone loses contact, it can continue its last assigned task autonomously or fall back to pre-programmed behaviors, ensuring the formation remains resilient even under heavy jamming or cyber attack. This architecture is not just about multiplying firepower, it is about creating a networked force that adapts to chaos, survives losses, and keeps fighting when older jets would be blind, overloaded, or outnumbered. The combination of AI speed and distributed drone control marks a fundamental break from the past. Where a single pilot once juggled every threat and decision alone, now the F-47 crew can delegate, supervise, and orchestrate a digital team at the edge of the fight. It is not just a new airplane, it is a new way of waging air war. Claims about the F-47's weapons and stealth often sound like science fiction, but the physics and engineering behind them reveal a more measured reality. Integrating a high-energy laser weapon into a stealth fighter starts with a simple principle: power in, heat out. The Air Force's directed energy programs, including SHIELD, target the 100 to 150 kilowatt class for airborne lasers. That is enough power to burn through incoming missiles or to blind sensors, but it is not a replacement for the jet's missile load. Generating that much power on a fighter-sized airframe pushes the limits of what even the latest adaptive engines can deliver. Each engine is expected to provide around 250 to 300 kilowatts of electrical power, enough for sensors, radar, and a laser, but only if the system operates in short bursts. Continuous laser fire would quickly overwhelm the cooling systems and spike the jet's infrared signature, making it easier to spot and to track. The practical solution is duty cycling, using the laser for seconds at a time, then allowing the adaptive engine's third stream and internal fuel to soak up the excess heat. This approach keeps the fighter stealthy and operational, but it means lasers remain a defensive tool, not a primary weapon. Stealth on the F-47 is another area where reality tempers the hype. Official Air Force materials describe broadband, all-aspect low observability, with a radar cross-section smaller than legacy fighters, possibly below 1/10,000th of a square meter from the front. That is less than the area of a marble, but it is not invisibility. Broadband stealth means the jet is harder to spot across a wide range of radar frequencies and angles, not just from one direction or in one band. Metamaterials and advanced coatings help, but maintenance is demanding, because every scratch or panel misalignment can raise the signature and compromise survivability. Even the best stealth only shrinks the detection window. It does not erase it. The F-47's design buys the pilot precious minutes or miles to act before an enemy can lock on. In practice, the combination of advanced stealth, electronic warfare, and carefully managed thermal loads makes the F-47 elusive, but never untouchable. Every breakthrough is a trade-off between power and heat, between stealth and maintenance, and between cutting-edge capability and operational reality. A single F-47 comes with a $300 million price tag, a figure that shapes every decision about its future. The Air Force's 2025 budget request sets aside $2.7 billion for the manned NGAD fighter, and over $3 billion for its supporting systems. With costs this high, the plan caps the fleet at around 200 crewed jets. Each F-47 is designed to command swarms of over 1,000 collaborative drones, shifting the balance from massed squadrons to a handful of networked hubs. The strategy relies on these drones to multiply the reach and resilience of each jet, but it also means that losing one F-47 could cripple an entire battle network. Critics in Congress and among allies question whether concentrating so much power in so few aircraft creates unacceptable risk. The F-47 costs 3 to 4 times as much as the F-35A, entering a price range once reserved for strategic bombers. Supporters counter that its advanced stealth, range, and drone control justify the investment, arguing that each jet can project power like an entire squadron. Policy draws its own boundaries. Department of Defense Directive 3000.09 requires that lethal decisions remain under meaningful human control. The F-47's AI can suggest targets and execute defensive maneuvers at machine speed, but it cannot fire weapons without a human command. This rule reflects years of debate among ethicists, lawmakers, and pilot unions, many of whom remain wary of handing life and death choices to algorithms. The Air Force maintains that the pilot stays in the loop, though the line between human and machine is already blurring. Globally, the F-47's cost and policy restrictions shape its impact. China's J-20 and Russia's Su-57 are built in greater numbers, but they lack the same networked autonomy. The high price makes United States exports unlikely, yet allies are watching, eager for access to the collaborative drones and AI tools that define this new era. Adversaries respond by investing in sensors and missile systems meant to hunt a handful of irreplaceable targets. In this contest, affordability, ethics, and policy matter as much as the technology itself. Right now, the Pentagon's next-generation fighter exists in a fog of secrecy, yet its development is shaping global military budgets and strategy in real time. As AI and autonomy redefine warfare, America's choices echo worldwide. The true cost of dominance is no longer just measured in dollars.